new watch, new babe.
So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. So listen, bro. The next video is when MRIs go wrong, right? The reason why I'm laughing is because, let's just say, some of y'all probably received this video because you're on YouTube looking up information on MRIs, right? Maybe you got one scheduled coming up you've never been before, so you're a little nervous, right? Others of you have had maybe several MRIs, you know? And you can probably think back to the time you first went to get your MRI done. You were nervous, right? Everybody's nervous. They're nervous about the condition that they're in that caused them to have this MRI, right? They're worried about that. Then they get there. It's this just tube looking thing. You know what I mean? Looks like you getting ready to be put in the little tube at the bank. You know, the tube they send down. They put your deposit slips in, you put it in the container, and send it up that chute. It looks like you about to get into that, right? You know, you may be nervous about that. You don't know what this big magnet thing finna do, right? You're nervous, you get in there, you're worried about remaining still because they want you to be still so they can get the images correct. You're worried about all the little things like that. You know what I was worried about the time I had to get an MRI? And for my brain, which is a whole nother story, I was worried about, and I know y'all finna say TMI, I was worried about farting in the tube. I was straight up worried about, I was worried about farting in there, man, and it echoing out, man, and just being like, having to apologize to the dude that's on the computer behind the little window, the glass, having to apologize like, yo, fam, my bad, bro. That's what I was worried about. While everybody was worried about other things, I was worried about that. So that just goes to show you how, I know, TMI, I know. But that's what happens when I say we're family. We're family, bro. We're gonna share things. I'm gonna share things with y'all, all right? But anyway, man, this is when MRIs go wrong. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, run the likes up, and let's go.
From fatal accidents to traumatic experiences, this is what happens when MRIs go wrong. Today's video was requested by Business Trending. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 5. Rajesh Maru. In 2018, Indian man Rajesh Maru was visiting an elderly relative at Mumbai's Nair hospital. According to his family, a staff member asked Maru to carry an oxygen cylinder inside the room with the MRI scanner. The person in question reportedly assured Maru's family that the machine had been turned off. This, unfortunately, wasn't the case. As he carried the metal cylinder inside, Maru was yanked towards the machine with great force. The tank was damaged by the impact and started leaking liquid oxygen, which Maru inhaled. He was rushed to the emergency room but was pronounced dead within 10 minutes. In the aftermath, arrests were made and the victim's family was compensated. Next up, we've got several police officers who
I just told y'all, magnet, right? A lot of people be worried. Look at me. A lot of people, I was about to drool all over myself. I'm hungry, man. You know what I mean? Y'all seen your boy a July 4th plate. You see me over here about to drool, man. But I was just saying that, bro. A lot of people be worried about the magnet.
Armed by MRI scanners. But first, let's learn more about how these machines work. Magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, is a medical imaging technique used to observe the physiological processes and anatomy of the human body. The MRI scanner is a large cylindrical machine which creates a strong magnetic field around the body. Although the machine is complex, the way it works is quite simple to grasp. Once a person is inside the narrow tube, the scanner sends pulses of radio waves, which knock hydrogen nuclei out of their regular position. Since we're mostly made of water, hydrogen atoms are abundant in the body. In the MRI scanner, instead of spinning randomly, hydrogen atoms line up with the magnetic field. When the magnetic field is turned off, the nuclei return to their normal position and in doing so, send out radio signals. A computer then analyzes these signals and converts them into images of the organ or body structure that's been examined.
Did anybody else get that? Me neither. Me neither. A lot of good medical jargon that they was talking right there. Over my head.
It's a highly effective procedure, but one that also comes with several risks, particularly since it involves the use of powerful electromagnets. Before we continue with our list, answer this question. Which of these activities was performed in an MRI machine for scientific observation? A. Writing poetry. B. Solving a Rubik's Cube. C. Speaking backwards. D. Having intercourse. Let us know what you think in the comment section below and keep watching to find out the right answer.
Solving a Rubik's Cube. I don't know. I don't know. Solving a Rubik's Cube.
Number 4. MRIs and Guns. In 2013, an unnamed police officer in rural Illinois was investigating a burglary inside a medical building. As he entered the MRI room, his service weapon was forcefully pulled to the machine. The gun remained immovable and the building was locked down. The situation was only resolved after the machine's manufacturer was contacted for assistance. Oddly enough, the 2013 incident wasn't the first time that an MRI scanner had disarmed a police officer. In 2009, a police officer was visiting her mother when her firearm was pulled to the machine, thus trapping her hand as well. She managed to get free, but the weapon was stuck to the machine for hours. Then again in 2006, an off-duty officer in New York carried a gun into the MRI room during his examination. The weapon was pulled to the machine and released a bullet into the wall. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. Our next listing involves a severe injury suffered by an elderly war veteran.
Bro, I'm gonna need them to know. No. I was waiting on them to say one of them went off, bro. No, fam. Leave your guns outside. Put down the guns. What movie was that? Bro, put down the guns and pick up a bone. What movie was that from? Yo, I'm literally on one today, man. I'm telling y'all, my bad. My brain is warped.
Before we get to that though, let's see what an MRI scanner can actually be used for. The MRI scanner is among the best diagnostic tools available in medicine today. Since its development in the 1970s and 80s, it has gradually evolved to include more processes. One of these is observing the functional activity in the brain by measuring changes in blood flow. Diffusion MRI is used to observe how water molecules move through the body, since strokes or tumors may restrict their diffusion. Developed in the early 2000s, real-time MRI can be used for continuous observation of moving organs like the heart. MRI can also be combined with high-intensity focused ultrasound therapy. This non-invasive technique uses high-energy beams to remove diseased tissue, and the process may be monitored through magnetic resonance. Aside from its wide variety of applications, it's also worth mentioning that unlike CT or CAT scans, MRI doesn't use X-ray or ionizing radiation. Number 3. Dan Mahoney. 79-year-old war veteran Dan Mahoney was seriously injured in a radiology center in Medford, New York. According to Mahoney's son, the man had been informed about the dangers of bringing metal objects inside the MRI room, yet nobody told him to leave his metal walker behind. He was yanked from under Mahoney as soon as the elderly man entered the room. He fell to the floor abruptly and hit his head. 2 days later, he suffered a stroke, and roughly 2 months later, he was dead. Mahoney's family subsequently sued the hospital. Before we get to one of the most brutal...
You think? Did nobody... What happened to the people that come pick you up? Like, to come get you and say, all right, it's time for you to come back for your MRI. They didn't notice the walker? You're right. We would be suing that hospital, bro. Are you serious?
Brutal incidents to have ever taken place inside an MRI room. Let's go through some of the ways a scanner can kill you.
All right, y'all, my bad. I apologize for those who are going to get MRIs this week coming up, man. My bad. My bad.
Before we move on, official They Will Kill You merchandise is not. Although rare, MRI-related fatalities have occurred, mostly as the result of human error. Since high-powered magnets are used, anything metal on or inside the body can basically become a deadly projectile. Internally, this includes anything from pacemakers, screws, plates, or surgical clips to shrapnel or bullets. These objects can heat up, become displaced, or in rare cases, even get forcefully pulled out of the body. Minuscule metal fragments in the eye may cause tissue damage or even blindness. It's worth mentioning that MRI magnets are at least 1,000 times more powerful than refrigerator magnets. If something metal is brought inside the room, it will be drawn to the inside of the scanner where the patient is sitting. The greater the mass of the metal object and the closer it is to the machine, the more dangerous it becomes. Substances known as contrast dyes may be administered through an IV to improve the imaging quality. Some patients may suffer allergic reactions to these substances. Additionally, the loud sounds, the confined space, and the pressure to sit still may cause anxiety attacks.
See, that was me, man. You know what I mean? I was worried, my anxiety, which then caused, maybe the bubbling of the guts or something like that. I was worried about all of that stuff happening and then me just, lighting that room on fire. And I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? Never mind worrying about the magnet stuff. I was worrying about, my anxiety. It was my anxiety I was worried about.
Number 2, Michael Colombini. 6-year-old Michael Colombini died after sustaining severe skull trauma at the Westchester Medical Center north of New York City. The incident took place in 2001. Prior to going in the MRI scanner, the boy had undergone surgery to remove a benign tumor. His kindergarten teacher told a media outlet, "You'd think that if you'd survived all of that, you'd be sort of home free." The MRI scan was a way for doctors to monitor the boy's progress after the surgery. Even though the dangers of having anything metal in the room were part of the safety protocols, a metal oxygen tank somehow made its way inside. As the 10-ton electromagnet was turned on, the tank was pulled towards the tube. At 20 to 30 feet per second, the flying cylinder crushed the boy's skull, causing fractures and bruising to his brain. He later succumbed to his injuries.
Oh my gosh, the carelessness in the hospital, bro. It just never ceases to... Oh my gosh. I mean, come on, bro. Y'all do this every day. And this ain't the type... Y'all are on the same lines as like the police, bro. You know what I mean? The police, firefighters, people in the hospital. One wrong move or mess up or mistake could be somebody's life, bro. Like, what are we doing? Oxygen tapes, guns, forgetting about metal, that shrapnel or something that's in somebody's body. Just the carelessness, man, that goes on. And it's probably from people being like overworked and stuff like that. But man, this is crazy, bro. That little kid didn't deserve that. I know his parents is messed up. I would be livid, bro. No way. My kid done fought through all of this type of stuff, and he has to die because of somebody's carelessness. Please, y'all better put me out. Y'all better strap me down to a bed and inject me with something that's gonna put me out. Because I'm finna turn into a Hulk in that hospital.
In light of this tragic incident, let's go through some MRI safety measures. After that, we'll take a look at a case involving 2 hospital workers pinned down by an oxygen tank for 4 hours. From the perspective of medical professionals, safety is a matter of following the proper regulations when operating the MRI machine. These may differ slightly depending on the country where the machine is used, but the overall safety protocol is usually the same. As a patient, you should inform your doctor if you have any metal implants or foreign objects in your body. Remove all jewelry, piercings, and other metal objects before you go inside the room with the scanner. Tell your doctor if you suffer from claustrophobia, which is the fear of being enclosed in a tight space. Anti-anxiety medication may be provided to ease your MRI experience. You should also notify the
Gas X too. Take you some Gas X.
radiologist or technician of any known allergies. So what activity was performed in an MRI scanner for scientific observation? The right answer was D, having intercourse. In the late 1990s, a Dutch researcher named Peck van Andel and his team studied several couples as they had intercourse in an MRI scanner. It was reportedly done to observe bodily functions during heterosexual relations. Number 1.
It's not weird to y'all at all. That wasn't weird to y'all. That was like the last thing I would have thought would have been the answer to that question. Weird. Okay then. I guess they just needed reasons to watch porn. I'm guessing. I really don't understand that one. Somebody help me understand that one.
Incident in Mumbai. In November 2014, 2 hospital workers in Mumbai spent roughly 4 hours sandwiched between a metal oxygen tank and an MRI machine. As they were preparing the machine for a scan, technician Swami Ramaya asked ward boy Sunil Jadhav to bring him an oxygen mask. Jadhav, who'd never worked in an MRI room, misunderstood and brought him a 4-foot oxygen tank instead. As Jadhav approached the machine, he was yanked with such brute force that he didn't have time to drop the tank. Both he and Ramia were pinned against the MRI machine. It would have been over in a matter of minutes, but the scanner's emergency stop didn't work and the magnetic field remained active. Therefore, the men were stuck to the scanner for about 4 hours. Jadhav had suffered a fractured shoulder, while Ramaya had suffered a ruptured bladder, kidney damage, and internal bleeding. The men were treated while they were still pinned to the machine. According to local reports, a team of rescuers at one point tried to remove the cylinder using a rope. The effort proved futile, and the men were only released after an engineer working for the scanner's manufacturer arrived on site. Both of them eventually recovered and were compensated in the incident's aftermath. It would take almost a year for Ramaya to return to his work, and he was reportedly traumatized by what had happened. Thanks for watching.
The only bright side of that was he was already at the hospital. That was the only bright side to that. Jeez. I'm gonna need for them not to put new people in the MRI. Listen, for y'all that are going to get MRIs, bro, I apologize, but at the same time, you needed to see this video, man. So you're on point to make sure you check everything off that you don't need to have, and you look around the room and make sure you don't see nothing. And then you talking with the tech to make sure everything is right. You know what I mean? I probably just saved somebody's life with this video, bro. So salute to y'all. Show this to other people, man. And y'all be careful. I didn't know it was this crazy with MRIs, man. I don't even recall them going over this with me when I had my MRI. Now that I think about it. A lot of people don't know how deadly that thing could be. They just say you got an MRI schedule and you go, they come to your room. If you're in the hospital, they say we got your schedule for an MRI. All right, they'll be here the techs will be here to take you down such and such time. You go down and then you come back up. They never discuss nothing like this. So yeah, we needed to know this for those of us who didn't know like that. This is crazy, insane, scary, deadly, all of those combined, man. And then they back there watching intercourse. Oh my gosh, bro, I'm gone. Y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what you thought of this video and stick around and stay tuned to the next reaction. I'm out. Y'all stay solid. Hey.